I'm so glad to be here and thank you for your coming. First, I want to say that who I am. I'm Sahar Ahadi. I got my PhD in University Putra, Malaysia, and now I'm visiting scholar here in the Apple department. And my topic is academic staff in Malaysian Research University. And why this is my topic? Because I work on higher education setting in Malaysia during the progress for my PhD. I hope we learn about the Malaysia and higher education today. So I have an overview about the geographical and culture of Malaysia and education system of Malaysia, and then I'm going to talk about some agencies related to higher education in Malaysia, research universities in Malaysia, and then at the end I'm going to talk about the academic staff development. Okay. As most of you came from Thailand, Malaysia is a tropical Southeast Asian country, and it is neighbor with Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, and the population is 29 million, and the national language is Bahasa Melayu, but people talking English, Mandarin, and Tamil as well. And the economy is going with natural resources, science, and tourism. And they have different variety ethnic groups like Malay, Chinese, Indian, and also others. And the religious is mostly Islam, but the Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, and other religions practicing also there. So about education system of Malaysia, there are two ministries working with the education system. The first one is Ministry of Education, MOE, which mostly related to pre-higher education level. So they have the primary education, a period for the duration of 6 years, and secondary education, which is 5 years. And also they have pre-higher education level. It is 1 or 2 years before they are going to the university or colleges. The Ministry of Higher Education is responsible for the public, government-funded, and private universities. So they have different type of public universities, polytechnics, community colleges, and also teacher training institutes. And in private sector, they have private universities, private university colleges, and foreign branch campuses. Okay, let's see what's the vision and mission for the Ministry of Higher Education is. Malaysia is going to have a center of higher educational excellence by year 2020. So this is their plan and goal to be there. And by having this vision, they are going to create a strategic and systematic plan, and they are going to reinforce their management system and also increase the level of their capacity and participation with other organizations which related to the Ministry of Higher Education. And also one of the most important thing is the enhancing the quality and standards of the higher education in Malaysia. And at the end, they are going to internationalize Malaysian higher education. So this is some statistic about the higher education institution in Malaysia. There are public higher education institutions. They have 20 public universities, and also they have some private higher education institution, like the private university number 32, university branch campuses, like the branches came from Australia, UK, like Curtin University or Nottingham or Monash University, and also some university colleges as well. Okay, what's the structure and organizations of Malaysian higher education? There are 4 main departments in the ministry. The first one, Department of Higher Education. It is responsible for development of public and private say universities and colleges in Malaysia, and also to ensure that they are in the international well-standing level. The next one is Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, and it is committed to providing the training in the community colleges and polytechnics, and it is going to have this goal by having the dynamic curricula and also the training and strategic management. The management sector is just going to the administration and corporate and service sector. So they have the Department for Human Resource Management, the IT, the Human Development, and Finance division are related to this management sector. And the development sector is the sector which consists of the international division, scholarship, and planning and research. But these are the departments which is in the Ministry of Higher Education. There are 3 other organizations which are not in the Ministry of Higher Education, but they have collaboration for the higher education in Malaysia. The first one is Malaysian Qualification Agency, that their work is to be sure about the qualification and standards in higher education in Malaysia. The next one is National Higher Education Fund Corporation, which is providing the loans to the students to study in Malaysia, and they have some eligibility criteria, like the person who are going to apply should be below 45 years old, or they should be the Malaysian citizenship, and the period for the program should be more than 1 year. And YTI is the Tunku Abdul Rahman is the first prime minister in Malaysia. So they have a foundation on his name, and this is like the National Higher Education Fund Corporation, working with helping the students, especially the poor students, to can get the fund and grants to continue their study. So let's see what are the legal frameworks in the history for the progress in Malaysian higher education. The first one is the Education Act in 1996, which is mostly related to primary and secondary education, but they have some things like polytechnic, universities, and community colleges which related to higher education. The next one is the Private Higher Educational Institution Act, and legally they are working on provision of private universities, to establishment of private universities, and also to control the quality of the existing one. And the third one is National Council of Higher Education, which is related to establishment of the public universities and community colleges, and to see that they are in the good standing. So the fourth one, which we are going to talk more about it, which is mostly related to the development of the higher education in Malaysia, is related to Malaysian Qualification Agency. They have the Malaysian qualification frameworks. Based on that, they have set of criteria that each person individually can see the progress of his development. The fifth one is universities and university colleges, which is mostly related to the establishment of the whole universities in the higher education, and the National Higher Education Fund Corporation, which is working on the scholarship issues. So the Malaysian qualification agencies, as we talk, have some objectives, which this one helps a lot in the development and success of higher education in Malaysia, because they implement the Malaysian qualification framework, and they develop standard and criteria. Also, they have some quality assure for higher education in the international and global. And also they have like self-assessment certification, and also some rating about the qualification. They have 8 levels for the Malaysian Qualification Agency. It means that every person entering to the higher education in Malaysia can get one of these levels. So each of these levels show which stage he or she is. So if it's going for the skills, they are on level 1 or 2. If they are going for vocational and technical, like polytechnics or community colleges or training, which mostly related, most practical, they are on level 3. But if they are in academic level, for diploma they are in level 4 and 5. For bachelor they are in level 6, and for master and PhD they are on 7 and 8. So if a person getting the 8, so they finish the Malaysian qualification framework until the end. There is another plan for the Malaysian higher education, which this one also helps a lot for their development, is National Higher Education Strategic Plan by 2020. So they have 7 trusts, and these 7 trusts is like widening of access and increasing equity, and also improving the quality of teaching and learning, enhancing research and innovation, and also strengthening of higher education institution in Malaysia, making the Malaysian University international, also having the culture of lifelong learning among the people, and reinforcing delivery systems of Malaysian higher education. So this is a strategic plan for higher education, which was started from 2007 and will be finished on 2020. Okay, then Malaysia is here. What was the first phase? The first phase was laying the foundation. So in 2007, they started to work on the transformation of the current situation of higher education in Malaysia to the new one. But what they did for having this foundation? The first one is working on the transforming the power from the government to the self-governance university. So university has the freedom and autonomy to work on their development. I mean, this is the legal framework. So the next one is the leadership. They have the particular leadership for having this transformation. They work on the academia. It means that every academic staff should be empowered for having this type of new education and higher education in Malaysia. Then another one was working on teaching and learning. It means that they upgrade the level of teaching and learning and working on research and development in universities. So after that, they work on strengthening and enhancement. It means that they had this foundation, but through the feedback and evaluation and assessment they get in these 4 years, now they are in the stage of strengthening and enhancement of the universities in Malaysia. So this is the achievement for phase 1 and 2. They have research universities. At 2006, they established 3 research universities. Now it's 4 research universities. It means that they are not working just on teaching, but now they are concentrating in making new knowledge. So they are working on research and development. And also then another thing is that they have Apex University, Accelerated Program for Excellence. So in 2008, they have the Apex Universities, and Malaysia saying that they should have 1 top universities. It means 100 ranking in QS World University. So these are their achievements. And this is some statistics about academic staff in Malaysian universities. You can see most of them, this is for 2020. So you can see the qualification for their higher education background. Most of them are masters. But their aim is to change it to the PhD. by the end of 2020, they are going to have most PhD and like associate professor and professor level in universities, in their universities. This is the statistic for academic staff in research universities. This is a little bit before 2020, 2008 and 2010, and you can see how it changed from 2020. So they are improving the situation for the qualification of the educational background for their academic staff. And what they did in their national strategic plan. They had some training in their universities. So the first one is induction course for newly appointed academic staff. It means that each academic staff is entering to the university. They should have like courses to introduce them how they should work in research and teaching. They have research methodology class, they call it SLAB. Each academic staff wants to go to start his or her master and PhD, need to have this research methodology course before they are entering to the program to like familiarize with the research methodology in the educational setting. The next one is a basic teaching methodology course, BTMC, which is a course each academic staff needs to attend this course to know about the teaching methodology and about the instructional design and how ICT works with helps to teaching and learning. There is research skills workshop which mostly related to learning statistical software like NYVO or SPSS or SAS. Also, there are some particular and specified courses to know how ICT working in teaching, learning, and research. They have some courses on learning management system and e-learning because they are upgrading their situation, so they have online courses. So they need their academic staff know about online learning. Academic management seminars and workshops were for academic staffs who have the position for the administration's position, and so it helps them to know how to manage the situation with the workload and so on. They have advanced teaching and learning courses and also publication workshop which helps them with writing and how to publish and how is the ethic related to the publication, and postgraduate supervision, which is related to how they going to supervise their postgraduate students. And there are some concern about academic staff development. The first thing is practice of empowerment in private and public universities in Malaysia. The next one is increasing the national budget for higher education, which is very important because without having the money and scholarship, people is not involving and having the collaboration with the universities. So they have increasing the national budget for higher education to make the linkage between the industry and higher education as well. And also they want to have 20 research excellence centers which are going to have in the international standard by 2020, and also achieve 100 research science and engineering per 100,000 workforce by the year 2020. They are going to be sure about the international standards by the 10th Malaysian plan, which is from 2011 and 2015. They have a program called My Brains 15 program, which is giving fund to the academic staff who wants to continue their PhDs. So they will help and assist them with that academic staff. They have SETARS A, which is the evaluation system to be sure about the undergraduate, public and private educational system. So through this, they are evaluating the academic staff, the situation, the environment, and the whole system. And also they have MyQuest. This one also the another assessment system. But this one is for private universities. And what I added during my PhD to the higher education system in Malaysia, as I told you, one of the concerns they have is practicing empowerment in higher education in Malaysia. So they have, based on their national higher education system plan, they have like structural empowerment which related to organization, as I told you. So through this structural empowerment, they are going to get job performance, better job performance, like job satisfaction, job commitment, and also they are going to improve the situation for the research-based universities in Malaysia. But what was my thought 4 years ago when I started my PhD was that, is it just empowerment of the structure of the higher education and research universities enough to get the people to involve and cooperate and collaborate mostly on the research and development of the higher education in Malaysia? And I was thinking that there should be some training which should become from inside of the academic staff, which is the like psychological empowerment. It means that we need some training for the academic staff to help them give them meaning for their jobs and how is the status of them in the university and also in their department, and do they have the efficiency and efficacy for working in the higher education. Also, do they have the competency? These are the things they are having by themselves. It means that they should have the feeling of getting the growth for their professional achievement, and also giving them autonomy, asking them if they have enough autonomy and freedom for their workplace, and also if they have the situation to make a decision for their work, and also do they feel good about their environment they are working and how they impact in the department and university. So through that, from my result I got, psychological empowerment can help to the organizational empowerment to increase the job satisfaction and better job situation in research universities in Malaysia. So, and here is some pictures during I stayed in Malaysia for 4 years. Thank you so much. If you have any question, yes.
So now we have some time for questions, so I will open to the group. Any questions?
Yes, please.
My question is, could you talk a little bit more about what were maybe the challenges that Malaysia felt they were experiencing, or what were some of the motivations for implementing the changes that you discussed?
Yes, as I told you, the main point is that they want to be in like international ranking situation, because they wanted to have some collaboration with other universities around the world, and this is their main challenges, because the economy is going to grow, and they are in a situation that they need a good higher education system for the workplace they have for the future. So the main point is they want to be internationally,
Competitive?
Yeah, internationally competitive. This is the main point and the challenges. And as the plan is in the progress, I can't say they've done with this. So it is in the progress, and it's on the half of the plan. So, but I think from like 1996, they showed a lot of changes.
Do you think there are any issues that get pushed to the side because that was their primary motivation?
Yes, yes. Because this is not the higher education plan. This is a national Malaysian plan. Yeah. Yes, please.
So one of the goals is to be ranked 100
Yes.
among globally.
Yes, but they haven't achieved on that rank. USM was now is like 300. The rank is 300, but they are working because there are some gaps that they need to fill to achieve on that stage. But they change a lot. I mean, the research, they have APEX and they have 4 research universities. They are like 400, 500 ranking in the world, but like 10 years ago, they didn't have this ranking in the world.
So the ranking system is not based on like U.S. News and World Report. The global,
this is QS. I mean, this is the
university.
Yes,
ranking?
yes, it is. If you check QS ranking university, you can see that USM as an Apex university is 300 in the world.
Okay. When you do your research in Malaysia, I was just wondering.
Yes.
Do they have a system of like published data that people can go online?
Yes, there.
Just like in the U.S., the National Center for Education Statistics that publish all universities through the
They have.
IPES data center. So what is the system that they use that people can go online?
They have the Ministry of Higher Education website. So each year they are having a report for the statistics of higher education. For example, 2008, 2010, and you can get every information you want. And it's in 2 languages. I mean, the Malay, Bahasa Malay, and English.
Do they publish data based on race and ethnicity? Because I saw one of your slides.
Yes.
By gender.
Yes,
sure.
They have, yeah. They have, even they have citizens and non-citizens, they have based on,
Thank you.
public, right? No problem. Yes, please.
Since the new reform has been implemented, how does faculty workload looks like? Do they need to do more research and do less teaching?
Teaching, it's like this, yeah. This is why they are working on the empowerment of the faculty members, because psychologically they need, because they suddenly change. I mean, from 2007 until now, suddenly they change. So there are some faculty members working like 20, 30 years like the previous system, and now they suddenly need to change. Yes.
What about in terms of their incentive, like in terms of payment, their salary? Do they get like the better salary before the reform, or since their workload is going to be increased, right?
It's related to how they get the fund and scholarship. I mean, the changes on that area, if they can, because they mostly working, especially the research universities, they have to write a proposal and get the grant and funds, so they can get some support from the university and also the government, which help them. Yes, please.
Along with their improvement program for 2020, do they have, or do they want to expand to transfer students in and out of the country?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. One of their goals is, as I told you, My Brain 15. So they don't, force the people studying inside Malaysia. So they are sending their academic staff or students abroad.
And would it be in the general area, geographic area, or is it all over the world? Those students?
No, whole the world. Yeah. And they are supporting, financially, they support their students.
Yeah, just to elaborate on that, I'm hoping that the Department of the Ministry of Education will work with institutions like UOI, because I know in the U.S. a couple research institutions or universities, they do not really recognize the 5 years, 6 years of elementary school and then 5 years of high school considered as high school graduates. Because Malaysian high school graduate come to U.S., if they want to come to UI, they don't consider you have graduated from high school because here it is 12 years of education.
Yes.
But then other universities in the U.S. accept that. So if they can work with institutions like Urbana, that will help the high school students a lot.
Yeah.
So they do not need to go to a one-year program called matriculation or whatever.
Yes, and then
and
after
they're
that.
only able to transfer in.
Yes.
So they're kind of like a waste of a year of time, precious time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, please.
But in your training slide, you said that there's a specific, that before they enter their graduate program, they do a set of research methodologies.
Yes.
Can you describe a little bit of what kind of research methods are focused on? Are there certain ones that are valued over others? And also, kind of related to that, are there certain fields, areas of study that they're promoting in terms of advancing degrees and all of that, or is it across the board?
Actually, I can say that one SLAB is for the academic staff wants to start their PhD or master program. So this is like the courses is very general. I mean, for example, a person is from the science department, so maybe they don't have that much concentration on research, basic research methodology like social sciences. So they are preparing that kind of academic staff to before they are going to enter to PhD and master programs. And about your second question, they have different, programs to start their PhD and masters. So most of the nowadays most of the academic staff should have the PhD degree for continuing their work in universities, especially in research universities.
So across all.
Yeah.
So you talk about the goals that the Minister of Education has for the university for the 2020.
Yep.
And this is about academic development and staff development. But in there you also mentioned your own research, which is related with psychological concerns. Can you explain a little more about what is that research about and what did you find in that research?
Yes. As I talked to you, it was like working on academic staff development, and so for having this academic staff development in research university, the higher education system in Malaysia taught that they mostly work on the the support, giving the support, the fund, the money, and having some program for their professional growth of the academic staff. But my research, my research added was that this organizational empowerment that higher education did in their strategic plan is not enough. I mean, because of this transformation, because we are human beings, so saying that change is not something acceptable for all of us, even if we have the support from the system. Okay, so psychologically, we as academic staff, for example, need to how to go through this challenge, and for this we need some psychological empowerment training. So through this psychological empowerment training, academic staff can feel better about what they are doing, about this transformation in the system and about these changes. So they can also help for the whole system. When you are not satisfied about I mean, psychologically about you, what are you doing, and you are not like convinced about what the system are going to with you, so it's not okay. I mean, something is wrong. So my study was concentrating on psychological empowerment training. So I was giving advice to the higher education system in Malaysia that it's good to working on organizational empowerment to have this transformation, but it's not enough. You should work, I mean, not on professional growth and development of your academic staff, but you should have some training program sessions which helps them psychologically to adapt with this situation.
When you're saying academic staff, are you meaning professors, or are you meaning like everyone who is working?
No, for my research, it can be like support staff, but for my research, it was academic staff. I mean, the professor, associate prof, anyone who has a position to teach and have a research, not administrative staff or support. It was not involved in the subject I had in my research, but it can be. It can be.
Do you have any other questions? So I have one more, but I don't want to monopolize the conversation. That's why. No? Okay. So what did you actually did with your research? Did you interview professors in the university? Did you work with them, or did you see the gaps that are between what the university is trying to go and what may happen with the professors there?
Actually, it was like two phase. At first, I needed to have a framework. So for that framework, first I had a conceptual framework, but I was not sure about that. The ones I'm showing is the result of what I get from that research. I started from the interview because the psychological empowerment among academic staff is very different from the ones we have in industry, and we don't have this kind of psychological empowerment training in academic staff, I mean in higher education system, because people are very self-like assessment and they are not like the industry that people like mentoring them and coaching them and supervising them. So I started from interview and came up to how psychological empowerment training defined in the higher education system. I mean, my sample was in Malaysia, so maybe it should be adapted to the other higher education systems in other countries. And then after that, I started to came up with the questionnaires to asking that how is the stage for the psychological empowerment, like something like need assessment of this type of psychological empowerment. And also besides that, I was asking them about the organizational empowerment also. So the organizational empowerment level was high, but psychological empowerment was not high. And through that, job satisfaction and commitment was not that much high. I can say it was moderate. So as the result, I'm saying that they need to work on psychological empowerment training for their system. It helps a lot.
Okay, so no one else has any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We are going to